But has Apple changed the narrative at all in the past 10 days?
Well, what's changed, I think, is this apprehension about iPhone units that has been somewhat addressed by lack of news out of the supply chain. So if we rewind 3 months ago, at this time, we had been hearing lots of reports about Apple cutting demand, cutting orders for future iPhone builds. And I think that the absence of those negative data points has left investors with a sense that we're not in front of some negative news. Now, that doesn't change the overall theme about where the iPhone is relative to the other segments. But, Melissa, I think that is the sole reason, or one of the biggest reasons, why the stock has been moving higher more recently.
Do you think that in between now and the launch of a 5G phone, Gene, what do you think demand is going to be for that iPhone? Because if you're a consumer out there and you're thinking, oh, do I upgrade, do I not upgrade in this time frame before a 5G phone is out, I would say you probably wouldn't upgrade for $1,000 or more for a phone.
So 5G is going to be bigger than anyone thinks it's going to actually impact our lives. It's hard to really put our heads around the significance of it. So I want to emphasize that. But it's going to take longer. And I think that this idea that if Apple doesn't actually have a 5G phone out this year, or maybe even not even next year, that they're somehow going to miss the window, I think that is a misguided view. And specifically, as we're probably looking at kind of this adoption of 5G at 70% in the U.S., probably in year 2021 or 2022. But I can't emphasize enough that probably your best play around 5G, and the hype is inevitable to come, the best play around that is, in fact, Apple, because they have an iPhone cycle that will benefit from that, also augmented reality, some of their healthcare initiatives. So I think that the company is exceptionally well positioned for investors who want to play 5G, but I strongly advise to have some patience around when that lift is going to take off.
Gene, one more on this, because I actually am really surprised. To me, 5G sounds like it disintermediates Apple. It moves the internet from something that's on our smartphones to something that's ubiquitous, so that our cars are connected devices and our homes and so much else of the right now dormant things around us. And as we saw, Verizon just launched its network with a Motorola 5G phone and not an Apple one. And Apple has had some setbacks recently with the AirPower issues and otherwise. So aren't there better ways to play 5G than through Apple?
No, I don't. I don't think there is. And part of the reason, yes, you can play some component suppliers, but at the end of the day is that there's two basic views of owning Apple. One is that this is a product cycle company, and that you own it in anticipation of big when numbers are negative around the iPhone, in anticipation of the numbers turning positive. And I think the 5G example will clearly drive that. The second is this idea of Apple as a service, essentially factoring in that they're coming out with more products around, whether it be what they've announced more recently. All of that is this more sustainable model. The beautiful thing about Apple and 5G is both of those narratives should get a lift, both the services narrative around 5G for the things you talked about, and for those who view Apple with more of a historic, this is a product cycle company view. So that's why I think it's the best positioned company. I feel strongly that this stock will act positively going in. Hard to predict the quarter when that happens, but I think over the next 2 years we should get that lift.